Have you ever felt there must be more to this life? I've always had a knowing that living life through my 5 physical senses is only part of the whole. That what I see, taste, hear, smell, and touch in this life is just a fraction of what I was meant to experience. There are moments where I experience some amazing things, but it still leaves me unsatisfied. It just awakens something inside of us that knows there must be more, that we must experience more. But the more never seems to come. We're left with this sense of longing that's never satisfied. And personally, I've tried to fill that emptiness with all kinds of different things. From extreme sports to laziness, from porn to religion, from surrounding myself with people to isolation. I'm left with a sense that something is missing. This longing is never fulfilled. And yet, I feel this mystery calling out to me, pulling me like a magnet. I know what it's like to feel hopeless, to feel like your life is meaningless. I know what it's like to feel so depressed you can't get out of bed. I know what it's like to be in a career that you absolutely loathe, to work day in and day out feeling like there's no way out. I know what it's like to feel like you're a terrible parent. No matter how hard you try, you will always let your family down, and to see their disappointment in their eyes when your family looks at you. But I also know the feeling that no matter how bad it gets, there's this tiny bit of hope that this isn't the end of your story, that you're not going to be left in this miserable place. You were created for more. It's that mystery so deep inside of you that calls out to you saying, there's more. Deep calls unto deep comes from a passage in the Bible in Psalm 42:7. The psalmist is crying out for the living God. He is desperately seeking the face of the Lord in his time of need. He knows that it is only God who can answer the call of this deep mystery that is inside of him. It is the deep things in us calling out to the deep things in him. There is something deep within me that is crying out for more. But in the ultimate paradox, it seems that the deep mystery inside of me is only a response to him calling to me. Could it be that he wants to be known by me as much as I want to be known by him? God himself is inviting me into the most intimate places of his heart. My story begins with a loving home, with caring parents and a solid family. I became a Christian when I was 5 and never really strayed. I struggled through school and failed most of my classes all the way through high school. And I believed the lie that I was stupid and would never amount to anything. My only outlet was martial arts, which was a God-given talent, and I excelled at it. I learned to adapt to my learning issues with great people skills, confidence, and a knack for teaching martial arts. After high school, I began working at Costco, but I thought my real life's work was to be a police officer. I tried for several years with many different departments, but I failed most of the written tests. It seemed like the Lord had closed all the doors, and once again, my learning disabilities held me back. I grew discouraged and resigned myself to the fact that I was going to be at a job that I didn't love forever. During this time, I met my wife, and we got married in 2005. We began attending a new church, and the pastor there mentored me, and I was ordained as a pastor in 2008. Eventually, I helped plant another church with a different pastor. It was at this time that I began to question everything I thought I knew, asking questions like, do I really believe in what I preach, or don't I? During a period of deep soul searching, the Lord finally showed me that while I had a lifetime of accumulated knowledge about him, I didn't know him by experience. I resigned from pastoring and went on a decade-long journey to find out what I believe, who God is, and who does that make me? It was a journey that took me inward before outward, took me apart before putting me back together. It took me down roads less traveled and into the secret place. That journey and the things that I have learned and overcome is what I bring to Deep Calls Unto Deep. Let's talk about what it's like to be addicted to porn for nearly 25 years and to be set free. Let's talk about working for 20 years in a job that felt like prison and how I walked away from it all with nothing but faith. I'll tell you about the lies that I believed about myself my whole life. You may have heard them too. They sound like, what you have to say doesn't matter. You're a terrible father. You have nothing to offer this world. God doesn't really love you. I'll share how God began to show me those lies and reveal the truth instead. Let's talk about what it means to be a good husband and father. But mostly, let's talk about what it means to be a good son to a good father and find out how he truly feels about us. The deep things in me are calling to the deep things in you. Can you feel it? Join me as I journey into the mystery. As I'm riding in the desert, hiking in the mountains, or swimming in the sea, I'll be sharing what I'm learning and encouraging you to shed off the old lies and step into your future. Let's find out who we really are and who we really were created to be. The world is waiting for us to show up in the wholeness of who we are.